In the heart of Dubai, there's a new hyper tower under development. At 341 meters, it's set to become one of the city's tallest buildings. The developer Binghatti has teamed up with Mercedes-Benz to create what they call living in sensual purity. It's a branded living community. It will feature a curved pinnacle and a back facade speckled with the iconic 3-point Mercedes-Benz star. The building is estimated to cost $1 billion. What will it look like on the inside? Why is Mercedes investing in real estate? What's the strategy? This mega project reveals a lot about a new trend in luxury living, and all the while it poses a series of ethical questions. This is the insane design of Mercedes Tower. The tower will be Mercedes' first venture into residential properties. It'll house 150 luxury apartments over 65 stories. Future residents will enjoy an unobstructed view of the Burj Khalifa and gaze down upon downtown Dubai. The elliptical exterior is meant to resemble the Vision EQXX and Concept CLA class cars. The facade will be integrated with photovoltaic panels that will power electric vehicle charging stations in the building. The inside will be composed of luxurious materials like Gaia marble, fluted walnut wood, leather, and black granite. The iconic Mercedes details of flowing lines and the star logo will feature throughout the building's interiors. The tower will have a concierge service, smart home features, and exclusive lounge spaces. It will be equipped with luxurious gyms, restaurants, spas, and pools. Each apartment will have its own deck and pool too. Many will have his and hers walk-in closets, room for domestic workers, and spaces just for gaming. Some of the higher-end apartments will come with their own gyms, cinemas, and massage rooms. The building is set to be completed at the end of 2026. The apartments go for at least $2.3 million. The penthouse will go for more than $20 million. In Dubai, there's always something large, flashy, and glamorous under construction. But this building is part of something new. It's the latest and most ostentatious example of a new trend in architecture. The concept of branded living exists since almost 100 years. It started out with an established hotel brand in New York, branching out into residences back in 1927. Hotelier brands like Ritz-Carlton and the Four Seasons continue to dominate the branded residence market. But in the last few years, brands you might not immediately associate with real estate have been entering the market, with each project more prestigious than the last one. Fashion houses launched a series of branded residences. Armani, Missoni, and Diesel, for example. The jeweler Bulgari will soon unveil a lighthouse enshrouded in marble and artificial coral. Even high-end restaurants like Nobu are in the game. Their branded residence in Mexico was so successful that currently 10 more are under development. Globally, there are currently over 700 branded residences either completed or under development, containing over 100,000 apartments. This number is expected to double by 2027. In some ways, it makes sense to desire a branded home. Legacy brands like Mercedes are aspirational. Their cars are associated with status, quality, and innovation, qualities that people also want for their homes. And as a brand, Mercedes-Benz might just feel more trustworthy than some property developer. Branded residential buildings tend to be found in cities like Miami and Dubai, places known for conspicuous consumption. But since the trend is set to keep growing, soon many major cities could have branded residences. And all this could well extend beyond luxury brands. Maybe there's a Disney Hightower coming to a skyline near you. The business case is easy. Branded buildings are highly profitable. In Dubai, slapping the right brand on a residential property can add an average of 37% to a project's sales price. Sometimes the premiums are crazy high. The Bulgari building sold apartments for 3 times higher than its non-branded counterparts. Obviously a fantastic deal for property developers, but it's a win for the brands too, beyond the immediate profit. Take Mercedes. The company is highly profitable with steady sales, but it has had difficulty gaining footing in the EV market. Supply chain bottlenecks and inflation that affected the entire automobile industry also ate into their recent performance. Luxury real estate might be an appealing way to further strengthen a core aspect of the carmaker's business model, an immensely valuable brand. The Mercedes-Benz Bugatti Tower will feed into that brand, or so might be the hope, and its presence will loom even greater in a city that already has a lot of Mercedes dealerships. Mercedes also announced the building of a residential tower in Miami. The business case might be similar. Luxury real estate might offer a good return on investment. In case you don't have that kind of cash available though, investing in your personal growth could be a more affordable option. With Brilliant, you can deepen your knowledge of math, science, technology, and a wide range of other topics with interactive lessons. It's a method proven to be up to 6 times more effective than just watching a lecture video. Brilliant has a fantastic course on vectors that helps you describe motion and orientation in space, where you can enhance your ability to visualize and solve complex problems in multidimensional spaces. The basis of building towers like this one. Learning new things has never been more fun. Try Brilliant for free for 30 days and see for yourself. You can just scan this QR code, go to brilliant.org/fern or click the link below. You'll also get a 20% discount on an annual premium subscription. Porsche was the first major car brand to get into real estate back in 2016. The Porsche Design Tower in Miami profited nearly $300 million. It boasts 22 billionaires, Alicia Keys and Lionel Messi as residents. It even has a special car elevator that whisks your car straight into your living room. For the Mercedes Tower in Dubai, it is not yet known what special features it will have. But for a $1 billion tower, twice as expensive as the Porsche building, we can probably expect something extravagant. $1 billion is a truly staggering amount for any building, especially a residential one. But large-scale construction in Dubai often involves more than just financial costs. Construction workers in Dubai regularly work in terrible conditions. During the construction of the Burj Khalifa, for example, workers were expected to work 12-hour days, 6 days a week for $4 per day. And that's if everything was going according to law, which often it wasn't. The UAE's migrant workers, nearly 90% of the population, are particularly vulnerable to human rights violations. Migrants enter the country under the kafala system, meaning that their visa is sponsored by their employer and they can't change or leave jobs without their employer's permission. This creates a massive power imbalance in favor of the employer. As a result, abuses are rampant. Migrant workers routinely face exorbitant fines, wage theft, unpaid overtime, confiscation of passports, and intimidation. There are no due process guarantees to counter these abuses. In an extreme recent case, migrant workers have also been tortured en masse by the regime's authorities. Domestic workers, who are usually women, face the same widespread issues but even more on top. Sexual and physical abuse from their employers, workdays up to 21 hours, and confinement to the home. Because domestic workers typically live at their employer's home, it's even easier for employers to trap and exploit them. The UAE has made some modest labor reforms in the last few years, but Human Rights Watch claims the regime fails to enforce them. This means that low-paid migrant workers continue to be vulnerable to forced labor. And forced labor is a sensitive topic for Mercedes, both historically and today. During the 1940s, nearly half of its 64,000 workers were enslaved concentration detainees and prisoners of war. Historian Neil Gregor argues that Mercedes was able to exit wartime in relatively good economic standing because its business leaders actively colluded with the Nazi regime, and because they chose to profit from slavery. After decades of silence, the company finally dealt with this past openly. We have a whole video on the subject of forced labor in Germany during World War II, link in the description. Fast forward to 2023. Mercedes reportedly sources some of its parts from Xinjiang, China. Beijing is accused of administering forced labor programs in the region. Automotive parts are identified as especially likely to have been produced by Uyghurs under state-sponsored coercion. In fairness of Mercedes, a recent study found that forced Uyghur labor is likely widespread in the supply chains of almost all big car manufacturers worldwide. Nonetheless, Mercedes-Benz promises they're watching out for human rights abuses. Their website refers to a company-wide system to address human rights issues, using guidance from organizations like the International Labour Organization and Transparency International. They systematically monitor the risk of human rights violations using KPIs and targets. With regard to forced labor specifically, Mercedes states that all of their employment relationships are based on voluntariness. But their readiness to do business in Dubai, specifically related to construction, does make you wonder, how carefully are they really checking? The work of constructing Dubai's glittering skyline is not only harsh and exploitative, but also extremely dangerous. Every year, thousands of migrant workers in the UAE die of unexplained causes. Experts assess that in addition to overwork and workplace accidents, a big reason is likely extreme heat. Temperatures can top 50 degrees Celsius or 122 degrees Fahrenheit. Many workers survive but return home with kidney failure or other illnesses caused by exposure to extreme heat. On paper, the regime bans employers from forcing laborers to work during the day's hottest hours. But it's been documented that regardless of this, construction workers have been forced to work during the forbidden hot hours. And according to Human Rights Watch, this policy, even when employers respect it, isn't even remotely enough to protect workers. The Mercedes-Benz Tower will begin construction this year, which will likely be the hottest on record. We asked Mercedes and Binghadi for comments. How will they ensure the workers' safety? How will they ensure fair pay and that no forced labor is going to take place on this massive construction site? So far, we have not received a response from either of the companies. The building will cause a sensation, and Binghadi and Mercedes will likely profit massively. Many will find it a beautiful and desirable place to live. Will it be though?